This is Guns Up. And it's kind of a fascinating game to me because it is on PC, but it has all of the structure that I've come to expect from mobile games. It's basically it's like an asynchronous tower defense game where you go back and forth between either creating the tower defense obstacle course for other people or attacking one of them yourself. So it actually reminds me a lot of, say, games like Clash of Clans, where you're setting up a base and you're attacking other people's bases. You have very limited control over your troops, and it's mostly just about sort of like how you've leveled up and strategically placed your resources. So I'm going to hit the war button and go attack another player's base. You can see what I'm talking about. So I don't quite know how this is all structured. These are players that I've beaten in the past. These are players that I have not beaten. And so I think, basically, I think it's out there grabbing the names of other players and attaching them to these regions that I can conquer. And then these players, they've actually built their own sort of tower defense courses for me. And then it's my job to go in there and attack them. And similarly, with the resources that I get from attacking these guys, I build my own, which then gets attacked by other players. So these are the soldier types that I've unlocked. The grunt just has a simple rifle. The assault guy has like he's a little bit more expensive, but he's also got looks like a submachine gun or assault rifle. Then the grenade launcher guy is super powerful, but he's also I'll show you how it works. So let's hit move out because I don't have anything else to choose. And then, so Packler D20 says, it's interesting to map them all geographically like this. And I agree. It's really kind of interesting. I mean, there's been multiple times when I've been involved in sort of planning games that were kind of like this. And, there's the game that's actually happening under the surface, which is usually, it's very simple, just matching players with other players. And then you try to create a fiction on top of it that makes players feel like they're doing something that's a little bit more meaningful than just getting matched up and having little fights. Okay, so these are some power-ups that I sort of just get awarded to me for some reason. So I've got a truck. It's slowly moving to the right. The enemy... Oh, I can't go all the way to the right yet. I'm kind of limited by my truck's distance. But you can see the enemy's got soldiers that it's spawning. So I should spawn my own soldiers here. So I've got a resource, ammo, that I use to spend on my soldiers. I've also got a population cap that you can't see. Here, let me pop over and move my head again. I'll move over here to the top right. There we go. Okay, so you can see I've got 10 of 18 soldiers spawned. So I can spawn another... Oh, well, more now that I'm getting them killed. So I can't just spam them with guys. I've limited to 18 guys that I can have out on the field. And so what I have control over is which guys I spawn in what order, and then what power-ups that I put in the way. Like, for instance, I can set a decoy, which means that all the soldiers will fire the decoy instead of firing at my soldiers, which gives me a temporary leg up. But once I use that, it's gone. And I kind of wasted it here. Like, I used it when it was going to be fired at by these guys, when they weren't actually in a position to fire at my soldiers yet. So I've also got missiles, which I can aim at things like that, which are really difficult to hit. And, oh, they've basically annihilated almost all my soldiers here. I'll grab some ammo, and I will spawn a few more guys. I've never seen this guy before. Oh, no! Alright, so with this many guys and so few defenders, I think I'm going to be okay against this bunker, even if it's taking out my grenade launcher. There we go. So I don't have any control over where these guys move, except for my very rare ability to place a rally flag, which just says, hey, everybody, run up here. I probably didn't put them in a very good spot, but, we're just seeing how it works. So now you notice I'm running low on ammo, which, I'll slowly gain it on a little trickle here, but since I've sort of blasted out all of my guys, it's starting to be a real restriction. One thing I've noticed is kind of odd is a couple of different games that I've played recently have been very clearly mouse and keyboard games, but for some reason they keep vibrating my controller on my desk. This game, I think this game is actually out on like PlayStation as well, and so that explains why, you know, it's messing with my controller. You probably can play this game with a controller, but it is kind of weirding me out a little bit. There was another game I played recently. I'm trying to remember which game it was. It was Steel Rats. That's right. So Steel Rats is also available on console, but when you play it on PC, it doesn't let you use a controller. It only lets you use your keyboard to play it. But for some reason, it was constantly vibrating my controller. I could not figure out why that was happening. Anyway, okay, so I've got just enough to... Oh, you know what? I've got just enough ammo to launch a grenade guy. That's not going to be great against these troops. Ooh, a power-up. A bombing run. Oh, he is great against the troops. But there's only one of him, and he's going to get shot real quick unless the other guys are here to take damage for him. Okay, so I think my guys can take out these soldiers, but I should use the bombing run to clear out this thing, this bunker here. You can just hear my controller going off. I'm not sure I've got the ability to turn that off. Actually, I should check real quick. Options, controls. Oh, wait, no. What is... Vibration off. Do not want. Okay, there we go. But yeah, so it's pretty rare for a game with a mouse and keyboard to not let you control your troops like this. The whole idea of sort of launching troops you couldn't control was something that I think, you know, they... it became a sort of a genre staple on mobile games, where it actually was complex to try to, you know, have a lot of fine control over troops. You don't have a mouse and keyboard when you're just sort of using your big fat fingers on a touchscreen. It's you know, it's a much bigger deal to try to give you a lot of granular RTS controls. And it's actually really clever when like games like Clash of Clans set it up so that your strategy was about where you spawn characters, and not about the specifics of how you control them and where you move them. And so it's this game brings that to PC and console, where traditionally that isn't how it works. You know, even a console-focused RTS like Bad North gives you some control of your troops, and that's sort of what the game is about. All right, yeah. So you know, I unlocked some bonus stuff that I can bring with me on future missions. So that player that I was just playing against is going to get a notification now that I defeated them in battle. Whoop-de-doo. And, you know, and then I can go back to my base, and I've earned some munitions, 4,329 of them. None of them. It's behind me right here. I'm not going to move my head again. But, so now I've got my base. So I've got a tent here that'll be spawning guys. I've got a bunker that will fire at them. I've got another bunker that will fire at them. And I can probably build something new. Let's see. Okay, looks like I can afford a mortar for... Oh, wait. It's interesting. So this is limit... Oh, you can see there's a limit down below me. Limit 0 of 0. So I'm not allowed to have mortar. So here, it tells me I can afford it. But it's over on the right where it tells me why I can't buy it. So that's a little bit clunky. But so yeah, but I can build sort of defenses for my men to hide behind. So like, where should I put this? I'm kind of running out of space. I think that eventually I'm going to need to start... Actually, you know what? I'm going to need to start spending my munitions on... Oh, it's not munitions, it's dynamite. Dynamite is a different resource. But yeah, I should start demolishing some of these obstacles over here like this. Oh, I can't afford this one. I can only get rid of small ones. Oh, that's fine. I'll get rid of that small one then. And let me move this small sandbag maybe over here towards the back as sort of a last resort, and then build this longer sandbag right here. So the controls for moving things around are actually pretty good, pretty intuitive. I don't mind these at all. So yeah, so you know, when another character comes and attacks me, they're gonna have to fight their way through this gauntlet, which, you know, won't be all that hard. I mean, you saw I did struggle with those bunkers that I was fighting. So, you know, maybe they'll have a little bit of trouble with those, but I'm not exactly that tough of an enemy to fight. So let's see here. So we'll return to the hub. And I don't actually know that much about the rest of this stuff. What's an alliance? I'm pretty sure that an alliance is like one of these mechanics you see in some of these mobile games where you get kind of grouped with a bunch of people, and then the way that you play amongst that group sort of gives you like group rewards and things like that. I imagine it's probably something like that. So okay, awesome Twitch dude just showed up in the chat. Thanks for joining me. Let's just have one more battle so you can just sort of see see how that all lines up. Okay, so this little flop that the lands do, by the way, when you mouse over them, it's kind of cool. So I'm not sure if I can actually fight the same people again. It looks like I can't. Yeah, so I've just got this record of all the people I've defeated in the past. That's interesting. Usually, your conflicts with other players in a game like this are just really ephemeral. It's like you have a fight with them, and then you forget they ever existed. Here, it's giving me a record of all of the people I've defeated, which is interesting. So, I don't know what this exclamation point means. Probably means it's very important for me to attack Fluffy Bunny 2. So let's go after Fluffy Bunny 2. Oh, right. That's something I forgot last time, is that I can bring in an attack card. So these are the cards that I got as rewards at the end of my last fight. So I grab an extra missile, an extra firebomb, some paratroopers to drop in. You know what? Kind of got a bad association with tear gas right now. So let's grab the missile and move out. Here we go. Okay, so you'll notice I've got a missile now that I didn't have the last time. Let's spawn some dudes. Okay, so I've got 18 space left. Let's grab some of these and some of these. Yes, these grenade launcher guys are really powerful, but there's only one of them. And so if they end up the target of somebody's fire, then kind of that's it. They're over. Whereas these other soldiers, they can last a little bit longer. Let's try to take that guy out as quick as we can. Right, that went better than last time. And we'll drop these bombs. You know what? That didn't hit all the things I expected it to. Oh, wait. Wait, I have another... I feel like that was an accident. I don't think I had another bombing run, did I? Well, that one certainly went better. I'll get another bombing run. Wow, I'm just unlocking these like crazy. Alright, so yeah. So my truck gets closer and closer and closer. So as I defeat the enemies, my spawn point moves up, which is actually really nice, because you can imagine that this game would get really boring if, my entire team gets destroyed, and, I was at the cap, and then they suddenly get destroyed, and then I have to wait for the next team to march all the way up this empty road that I've already defeated. So having this sort of progressive spawn point that moves forward is a really clever move. And there we go, victory. Yeah, so Fluffy Bunny, kind of a pushover compared to the last one. I have lost these before, by the way. One time I actually lost one. So there's a timer on these. I have a limited amount of time to beat them, because eventually, through attrition, the attacker can always win unless there's some kind of time limit. And so I had a sliver of health on the enemy base when I ran out of time, and it was very, very sad. One thing you notice, I tend to win 3 cards each time I beat one of these. But, oh, hey, I got a special reward for defeating some sniper towers. Cool. But I only can bring 1 card into battle, which means that my cards are going to start filling up over time. Now, eventually, that will probably turn around, and I'll have enough slots for cards that, my pool of cards will start shrinking. But for now, as a new player, I'm sort of building it up, which is, I don't know, not a bad way for it to work. So I leveled up to 4. I have to get up to level 6 before I can start grabbing those mortars. So I've still got a ways to go. But I've got a medic now, and I've got another attack card slot, so I can start burning through the pool faster. Okay, yeah, so Packler D20 was saying, yeah, that's what I was about to ask about what losing looks like. I'm curious what needs to go into a base that can't be beaten. So really, it's just... it's a mixture of just having just enough obstacles that it slows me down enough that I can't beat the timer. And it also really a lot comes down to just me and, where I decide to use my power-ups and where when I decide to spawn my guys. Because I can, because where I use the power-up stuff can really make and the timing of it can make a big difference to whether a bunker wipes out my whole team and I have to, respawn the whole group again, or if I take the bunker out and then the team marches forward into the next obstacle. By the way, notice, because I'm new, they're trying to sell me this this new recruit pack, 1 purchase limit. So I remember working on mobile games and doing this kind of thing where, one of the hottest selling items for these kinds of games is a special pack for brand new people that they will never get again. And you say, hey, you don't really know whether you're going to be super into this game or not, but you like it just enough that maybe you'll spend a little bit of money on something that is super, super on sale and will jump you ahead and make you more powerful than your competitors. A lot of people go for this stuff. For me, as a mobile player, usually the things that I want to spend money on are things that feel like they have lasting effects. Something like a long-term resource multiplier, for instance. I will usually spend money on something like that because I feel like, something that just gives me something that is valuable immediately, but that I'm going to graduate past, rarely feels like it's a good investment. I'd rather just earn that naturally, or I'd rather, see how I can do without paying for an advantage. But paying for something that just sort of that feels like it's going to stretch across the entire game and it's going to keep making the game feel more efficient and more powerful for me, that's the kind of thing that usually attracts me. But that's just the kind of player I am. I think that usually you try to come up with a lot of different offers to spread across all of your player base, so that, people will spend money on different things. So, yeah, Packler says, defending is so passive, so it makes sense that the loop and the winning is more about active players engaged in attacks. Yeah, so basically, building up my own base isn't really gameplay. I'll upgrade my bunker. This isn't really gameplay. This is more vanity. It's kind of like when you're playing a game like, what's it called? The game where you're playing like a match 3 game, but then you're also renovating somebody's yard. There's a lot of games where you get sort of a little vanity project that you get to use your rewards to build up, and you get to sort of sit back and look at, I'm so proud that I made this. And so this game, this kind of game, this genre of game, it gives you a vanity project, but it also ensures that other players are going to see your vanity project. It's not just a vanity project for you, it's a vanity project that other people are going to experience. And if you're good enough at building your vanity project, other players will actually be frustrated because they can't beat you. And that idea that you're going to get to frustrate, not just impress other people, but actually make them angry it's such a draw for players. I mean, I think that's the main emotion that drives Clash of Clans. It's not just the excitement of the gameplay of attacking these bases and cleverly trying to outwit people during the action. It's also cleverly trying to outwit people who attack your base, and imagining what it's like for someone to play against you and lose. So okay, Barracks wants me to. Oh right, because I've got a new soldier to look at. Oh, but I have to spend munitions to recruit them. Okay, so it continuously heals nearby units. So if I recruit them at the same time as other people and it's walking in lockstep with them, then they'll last longer. Well, that's pretty cool. So yeah, let's totally add that guy. And wait, customize? What's customize? Oh, I can decide what they look like? Oh, it doesn't look like I have a ton of options. Oh, I can buy all the flashy colors. Gotcha. Well, I don't have any gold, and I'm not going to buy any gold. So there you go. And the depot, it says, oh, the depot is where you can buy more stuff. It's all about buying the stuff, which, I understand. I have worked on games that are also trying to sell people things. I worked on Battle Nations. I worked on Deer Hunter 2014. So totally understand. This is how it works, right? You make a game, you give it to people for free, and a certain percentage of people only ever play it for free and enjoy it for free, and it's great for them. And there's a certain percentage that do spend money, and they're the ones who pay for it for everybody else. It's an interesting sort of sort of economy there, where it really is sort of like the people who have the money to spend basically subsidizing it for all the players who don't. So there are some ethical implications that you have to think about. There are ways for games like this to be very exploitative, but at the same time, there's a way to think about it where it actually can also feel a little bit egalitarian too. So just depending on how you handle it, there's good ways and there's bad ways. So I'm not going to be judgmental about specific games and how they work. It's a very difficult problem to solve, to figure out how you're going to. Part of the reason you go into this industry is because you want to entertain people, and then the question of how you're going to make money at it is a very complicated question. So I'm not going to get too deep into those types of issues. Awesome Twitch Dude asked me, will you get sub badges eventually? I don't know how Twitch works. So I don't even know. I don't know how people set up subscription perks or anything like that. I can't even begin to. And that's I do this mostly. I do this stream and these videos because I get something out of it. Because having you in my audience interacting with me, asking questions about the game, spurring me to think more analytically about it and talk more intelligently about it than I would if I was just playing these things by myself, and also inspire me to get a little bit deeper into some of these games that normally I would see a little bit of, kind of get bored and quit. I get a big benefit out of this, but the benefit I'm getting is not being a super fancy Twitch streamer. I'm kind of a little bit disengaged from that. So sorry that I'm not one of the fancy ones, but I do get a lot out of having you here in my audience, and I mean I end up being a better game designer because of the experiences that I have here. So you're doing a lot for me that way. I don't even know what benefits we would get from all the other stuff you can do as a streamer, but I think that's about as much of this game as we need to look at right now. So I'll throw up the bar and the subscribe button and all of that stuff, and we'll move on to something else.